Hello, everyone. Welcome to Cardano Live. We have John and Hayden from Astarter with us here today. I'd like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year's coming up, and Happy Kwanzaa, and all those great holidays we have coming this time of year. Cardano Live has been off the air the last couple of weeks. I was helping family move out to warm, sunny Salt Lake City, Utah. So we are back in action and have some more episodes coming up over the next couple of weeks that you will really enjoy. And we have links down below in the description. We've got links to Astarter's website, to the Medium articles, the Astarter Twitter account. So if you want the latest and greatest updates, make sure you check out that Astarter Twitter account and follow them for the latest information. There are Medium articles as well, and Astarter also has a Reddit, and the Reddit is linked down below. While you're down there, feel free to hit that like and subscribe button and share this video with friends and family alike so that they can learn a little bit more about these awesome DeFi systems that are being built on Cardano. So without further ado, let's get to the stars of the show. John and Hayden, how are you guys doing today? And where are you calling in from? Hayden, where are you calling in from?
Brisbane, Australia.
All righty, down under. And so you, it's actually summertime there now, isn't it?
It is definitely nice hot weather.
Right on. And John, where are you calling in from?
I'm calling in from the UK. Always sunny, always raining.
Always, yeah. UK. UK weather in the wintertime, you get that sideways rain going on, and ooh, I don't envy you at all. All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen. All right. So, tell us about Astarter. What are you guys building on Cardano?
So, to start with, Astarter is a key DeFi infrastructure for Cardano with 4 main core applications, including the Launchpad for IDOs, DEX, money market, and the tech services platform. Basically, we're developing a decentralized finance application for Cardano with the backing of Emergo. So it's a huge backer there, which is great for Astarter and great for the Cardano community. I'll let John have a little bit more to say.
All right, thank you, Hayden.
Indeed,
John.
The whole aim is to elevate our contribution and bring broader possibilities to the Cardano ecosystem through a fair, safe, and accessible open finance system, a DeFi hub, as it were, on Cardano. So yeah, that's what we're aiming to do.
Definitely it's the native Haskell also. So it's true native Haskell.
Yeah, we're looking
True
to
native
existing demand.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and people are really interested in the building of these DeFi systems on Cardano, and you guys have a pretty good sized team there. I was looking through your website, reading up on Astarter. You've got a very large team. You have Emergo, you got Murasaki, John Connors listed there on your website.
Yeah.
You also have Darren Camus. I know Darren Camus from a long ways back. He's been around Cardano for a very long time now. So that was kind of heartwarming for me to see that there's people who have been engaged in Cardano for quite some time, involved with your team, bringing stuff up on Cardano. Now you got the IDO Launchpad, decentralized exchange that you guys are building, the money market, and there's some type of the technology support services.
Tech service.
The tech services.
Yes.
What's the IDO like? Sorry. Go ahead. Tell us more about it.
Tech service. Think Oracle service, providing the services to those other components, governance and that sort of thing, sort of feeds going into the other services. So technical services, oracles, and that type of thing.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so Oracle systems, and we do need those. I've been playing around on testnet, and I could see the need. Even on mainnet, there's Muesli Swap is out there where it's where you can swap your coins on, and it would be good to see, what is the current market rate based on multiple exchanges, that I'm looking at right now based on multiple dexes, right, that I'm currently looking at. So you guys are working towards that as well, on building an oracle that will kind of aggregate those different price feeds.
Exactly. Bringing
Yes.
verified data into the Astarter ecosystem, if you like, and the broader ecosystem can leverage on that as well. So yeah, verified sources of data through the Oracle services.
All right. So are you guys building this primarily in Haskell, other languages, different SDKs? How are you building it? What's under the hood, really?
So it is purely Haskell, but we will have at a later stage the ability for cross-chain bridging and those sorts of things. But it's purely for the Cardano community and in Haskell. So
Okay,
so the DEX itself will be Plutus and the underlying infrastructure is Haskell?
Built from the ground up, native Haskell. The developers are working extremely hard in the background to meet all those challenges of building in Haskell and incorporating all the back-end services, the Plutus applications frameworks to build that up from the ground up, native Haskell. And there'll be a lot of sort of internal code, internal and external code reviews before the product does actually go live. But we're very close to beating testing that first product, if you like, the Launchpad, due this month.
And it will be on Yoroi, kicking off on Yoroi.
Okay. All right. So your Launchpad will be available on Cardano as a Cardano native asset, and users will be able to use Yoroi to interact with it?
Correct.
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
Nice. Okay. Are you launching anything on the Ethereum side? I'm just curious, like you're launching tokens over there. You're doing it all on Cardano.
No, all on Cardano.
All right. There you go.
Yeah, we're not porting Solidity.
No.
AMA, automatic market maker, and DEX will come in the future. We're starting off with the Launchpad. Everything will be built on Haskell from the ground up. A bridge, so we can bring assets from Ethereum, let's say, into the Cardano ecosystem, which may be reliant on an EVM and so on and so forth, wrapped Bitcoin, those sort of things. So we can bring assets with strong liquidity into the Cardano ecosystem.
Into the Cardano community. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's good to hear. It's the welcome mat for those who've built on Ethereum and have that experience and would like to bring that experience over to Cardano. So you have the Launchpad for that. Can you tell me a little bit more about how does the Launchpad work, or how do you plan for it to work? Are developers going to apply and then you screen them? How's that work?
So we will be utilizing, to start with, Google as the KYC.
For that.
Sorry, my phone went on. Just don't mention the G word on my phone. So basically, it will be utilizing the
it'll have configurable. We take it from top. We're gonna have. We put out a demo recently showing the connection through the Yoroi wallet. So that's where you could typically would start with loading a project, let's say, for the Launchpad, and there'll be configurable templates. And one of the nice features that we have is one-click token issuance. So projects will be able to issue their tokens with minimum sort of technical capabilities. There will be options there to have custom configuration parameters. So those that want to customize their token issuance in some way have that ability as well. And then what Hayden was talking about there is KYC, obviously needing some compliances and sort of, and this is specifically on the IDO Launchpad side. Slightly different when we're not at that deck stage yet. That will come later. We're trying to offer that complete package, starting with something that will enable projects to basically launch and have support services for their projects to get them out there and get them to market, and then have the liquidity through the liquidity pools and automatic market made of the decentralized exchange and so on. But yeah, KYC will be there for those projects. But we feel that meeting some of those compliances, specifically where token sales are involved, requires that sort of due diligence, which starts really with KYC.
And later on, we'll be looking at the ability to integrate with a Tala Prism and those sorts of things. So,
okay, cool. So the near-term time horizon we're looking at with the IDO, you'll have KYC for compliance. When the DEX comes out, that will be, of course, a DEX, no KYC. You can go in there and trade and swap however you want to trade and stuff like that. And is there going to be any liquidity pools involved with the DEX as well, or is it going to be primarily the token trading where I could place an order and wait to trade into a token? Or is it going to have both, multiple?
With liquidity pools, there'll be people will be able to create their own market pairs, so to speak. So it's like 50-50 balance, a typical sort of automatic market maker, but built from the ground up, so it can leverage some of the features of scalability and so on that is available on the Cardano. So we're really talking about next level DeFi, full suite of services that people have become accustomed to over the past few years since the takeoff of Uniswap and all of these other decentralized exchanges, which has only really been possible due to the liquidity pools. That's I remember a time before liquidity pools where people were building dexes and there was just no one on the other side of the trades. So to put that automatic market there, suddenly there's liquidity and these things work. So we'll start to see large liquidity, and this appeals to large investors when liquidity is available. So, and I think if you have the underlying infrastructure, such as the built from the ground up on the Cardano blockchain that can scale, we should be able to attract some very large investors that were traders on the platform.
Yeah, if you can get hundreds or even thousands of traders who like to, you have people on the lending side who say, I'll lock in my tokens on the lending side. You got people over on the borrowing side. You got thousands of people doing that, or you could have a few giant whales or VC backers. But I think it's kind of cool that the average person has a chance to participate where they can lock in a smaller amount of ADA and a smaller amount of the native asset and still participate in the liquidity pools. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And moving barriers to entry is a big part of decentralized exchanges. So literally anybody from a small investor to a large enterprise investor can make use of those services, especially if the liquidity is available. Everyone can add to it and have a portion of those fees go to there. So it's aligns incentives and participation. Yeah.
So when the IDO first launches, is there a particular token that you're going to have available through the IDO? Is it an Astarter type token? Is it, or you already have developers who will have a separate token for their project? What do you got out of the box on the near time horizon?
We've definitely got a few projects ready to kick off, but we can't mention them just yet.
I understand.
Yeah, But
we are taking applications. We've got an application for projects on the website, so people can start putting in their projects and making that connection with us, so we can start preparing for those. We have some already ready to go. We'll have Astarter token, both a native utility and governance token. People will be able to create pet market pairs and have that incorporate in their IDO or ADA token, ADA token.
Okay. So for developers and entrepreneurs, business builders out there, if you are interested in launching on the Astarter IDO, check out the links down below. He's got an application there so that you can get into that queue and get looked at. And this IDO hasn't launched yet. I appreciate you guys coming on here. I know it's kind of difficult because I ask questions that sometimes you really can't answer them yet. But I think people enjoy having you on the show and at least saying hi and showing up to the game, and bringing your best to Cardano. People really appreciate that. And I also know, just so you guys know, these guys are up late. I had them up late last night. We were doing, prior to the podcast, we had a quick meet and mic check, and I kind of dragged you guys up late, or however that works. So thank you all for bearing with me. I appreciate it. For the viewers, if you have any questions, let us know over in the chat and we can get to your questions. Although this project is still early on, if we can't answer your question now, at least we'll know it's out there and that someone needs to come back and say, hey, let's go back and answer this question, or drop it in the comment section down below. Leave your questions for Astarter down there, and we will check back and see what kind of questions you have there as well. So you can ask me live in the chat while these gentlemen are on, and hopefully we can answer your stuff. Okay. All right, so you're going to have the IDO DEX. There will be liquidity pools on that DEX. Testnet. What are you guys thinking about testnet? I've been playing around on the testnet. Are you doing internal testing right now, and then you plan to deploy on the Cardano testnet, which is a great testnet, by the way?
Yes.
What's your plan for that?
So currently it's internal testnet, but we will be looking at deploying on external in the coming week or two, prior to the beta, for sure.
Okay. And so
we're just doing the internal audits prior to going out onto public.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't want to deploy the beta until we've done internal audits. We're at that stage now where we complete those internal audits and we'll deploy on the public testnet, so people can start helping us beta test that product, and then we'll go into external audit phase before the live launch, which could be as soon as, well, it will be first quarter 2022.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a rough date, Q1 2022. That's an approximate date. Well, it's good to have you on here early, because I do get people often ask me, how do I get into a project early? They want to participate in the IDO. They want to participate in the DEX early on when that goes. So I'm glad you're able to get here. So folks, make sure you follow that Twitter account for live updates over there for the Astarter launch as things launch. Now, I think the viewers are also pretty happy to hear that you're going through thorough testing, you're going through a code audit. You have well-known advisors on the team from people who've been around Cardano for a long time, because that builds people's trust and confidence. There are, we know there's other blockchains. They have some really good DEXs going, but they also have some problems with DEXs. So I think people would rather you take your time, get it right as you can. There's no such thing as perfect, but high probability of success. And I think people like to see that on Cardano, because that's what we bring to the table. So that's good to hear. All right.
Everyone struggled with the PAB aspect and things like that. So there's always challenges that we've got to overcome and achieve before we launch. So.
Okay. So prior to launch, so you got a launch coming up. It sounds like in the next couple of weeks, you might go out on a test net, right? What's the biggest challenge? What's the biggest challenge coming up? Or what's the biggest challenge you've had to work with so far? What keeps you up at night? Writing code. No, I'm just kidding.
we're looking to get the beta version by the end of this month. So we are, we're all working full steam to make that happen. And at the same time, we're trying to engage the community, and we have our ambassador program that we've rolled out. We've got hundreds of applicants, and we're looking to get all the ambassadors together on calls, and because we're building this really for community, so that the community can have the tools required to be able to develop their projects and so on. And all of that requires an awful lot of teamwork and effort to meet the roadmap, the timelines that we set, and so on. So we've got so many things going on, so the challenges of building from the ground up with a Haskell Plutus implementation, and the challenges of bringing the community together and organizing the ambassadors and so on. It's coming together really nicely. It's great to see the input that everybody's putting into the project, I must say.
And definitely want to reach out and say thank you to the ambassadors and the community in general. They've been really welcoming. So
yeah,
that's fantastic. You have an ambassador program. That is really cool. So if people are interested in that, would they hop into your Discord? There's a Discord link on your website. So if people want to check out the Discord, it's over there. And I guess they can get a hold of Maya, I guess, or John and Hayden.
Yep.
Hit you guys up and apply to the ambassador program.
Yeah,
Batman's around as well. He's get the bat signal if it's needed, and someone will be there to sort of help and explain and show and guide people how they can participate in that ambassador program, and other sort of community type activities that they can participate. So,
and teaching people is important. Like having people make YouTube videos for how the IDO works and how the DEX works. There's not a whole lot of people who are really savvy in DeFi and how liquidity pools. DEXs are pretty easy. At least I find DEXs pretty easy. The challenging part I find myself is how to use proper DeFi apps where you're locking your ADA. And remember that it's the only time. ADA is not locked when it's staked. But if you're going to buy into a liquidity pool, you have to lock your ADA against a token, right? Whatever that token is.
Yep.
And for some period of time, it will be specified by the smart contract. So it takes a little bit better understanding, but from people I've talked to, they have found that the effort is worth the reward. And there are trade-offs. There's always pros and cons and risks to using these DEXs. So people got to be aware. That's why it takes some experts to make YouTube videos and help train people on how to use them so they can gain the benefits that are available from DeFi.
Right, knowledge sharing is a big part of that, right? So.
Yep. All right. So I had a few more questions that we had talked about prior to the podcast. We went over a few things. We touched on the Launchpad IDO. Tokenomics. Are you able to speak to tokenomics yet? I know it's still early, or are you going to post that on your website as in the pie chart distribution of how many tokens are team and how many tokens are public sale and all that kind of stuff?
That will be released on paper. We can't disclose that at the moment, but it will be definitely open for community and things like that in the coming month or two. We'll have to see.
Yeah, we're focused on a fair launch, and that's we want people to see that it's fair, and I think making that available in a paper is the correct way to do it. So look out for that. That'll be happening very soon. Certainly, as Hayden says, before the live launch, which is Q1 2022.
Yeah.
beta launch this side of the new year.
Okay. You know what I've seen in the pie charts, and the viewers will probably agree with me. You'll see a pie chart, right? And it has a whole bunch of different wedges in the pie, right? A whole bunch of different wedges.
Yep.
And once you look at them closely, you'll see this much is developer and this much for marketing and this much is for the team. And then you put the whole pie together and you go, wait a second, the team's walking off with 60% of the tokens, and then you got 40% available for pre-sale and for the public sale and for the DEX. And they're like, is this a rug pull? And so I'm not, you know what I mean? You guys see it.
Yeah.
I know you guys see it.
Yeah,
you go in social media, and so hopefully we'll remind the viewers is to check out those pie charts for the token distribution. Hayden, you're saying?
Yeah, we've got the full backing of Emergo and advisors of IOHK, so definitely no rug pull here.
Okay. Yeah, and it means different things because they're like, oh, if you sold like 40% of the tokens to VC, they'll be like, it depends on how long they're locked, right?
Yeah.
It depends on how they're like, they might be locked in a smart contract for 2 years, and that might be okay. That would be, or, it bleeds out a small percent per month over a period of time. And that way, a guy like me, a regular guy, could kind of get in on the IDO or something like that and not get dumped on. But I mean, we just kind of talk about that stuff because we know there's people out there with years of practice. They know how to play the deck. So the average guy, be careful. Yeah. Yeah. It's important to know.
Definitely.
All right. Yeah, I think we hit on a lot of the questions we talked about previous to the podcast. You want me to check questions in chat and touch on a few of those?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Yeah, I appreciate you guys. I know I kept you up late and woke you up early, Hayden. So we'll see if we can get a few more before you run out of steam. You're a real champion, man. And John, it's getting a little late over there in the UK, but you probably don't mind. Let's see.
Okay.
We do have one from Nick. I'll kind of touch on that one because you guys might not have heard of drip drops. Nick asked, have you thought about using Andrew Westberg's drip drops to incentivize token distribution through multiple stake pools? So drip drops is a technology. I happen to be on that team with Andrew, and it's a coin distribution technology. So we'll be doing a podcast at the end of the month to talk more about that. Have you guys ever heard of drip drops?
I haven't, no.
Okay. All right. So, Nick, I'll hit up on that question later on this month. At the end of the month, Nick, we'll be doing a Drip Drops podcast, and we'll be able to touch on that there as to who's participating. Cool? All right. I hope that helps out, Nick. Thank you for the question, sir. Let's see. What else do we have here? As you know, it's let's see. Salih Aydin asks, as you know, it's hard to get an allocation for IDOs on current popular launch pads for small investors. What are you planning to keep your platform fair and welcoming to new investors? Okay. Thank you for that question. That's kind of what we touched on. You guys have anything to add in addition to what we spoke about earlier briefly? The allocation for.
Yeah, it's as I tried to highlight earlier, it's removing those barriers to entry is what we're about. So yeah, we want to make these things accessible for everybody, but also we did touch on due diligence, the KYC being one of those primary things for certainly the IDO aspect. So if people will go through that process and then and they pass that and they get onto the platform, they'll be able to participate, and that should make it available to anyone. And if there is any problems, if people are finding it difficult, then hit us up in the channels.
Yeah, you guys are pretty accessible. You're not hard to find. So thank you, Saleh, for that question. And keeping it fair and welcoming to new investors. I love how that question is phrased. That's very important because I'm not beating up on Solana, but in social media, what I most often see about Solana is people talk about the VC backers. Okay, that's great. All right. But I just happen to notice that. And they post the pie charts. But we don't want to do that on Cardano. We don't want to do that.
There's projects that raise vast amounts and receive a lot of publicity for that. But then again, you look at where this sort of these decentralized exchanges have coming from, and Uniswap started with was it 50K Ethereum grant or something like that. So it's not necessarily the amount of investment that a project has, or the VCs, should we say, that are involved with projects as a terms to what the teams can deliver and how they grow organically. It's community and users that make the difference, as opposed to vast amount of investment from VCs, a small group of VCs. It's the bigger, larger community has a more say in the success of a project. And this is one of the things about Cardano. The success is that you can see through the number of projects that are preparing to launch their smart contracts, and the sort of community's anticipation for these things to start happening. And it's not something that can be pulled out of a box overnight.
That's pretty cool. I did not know Uniswap started with 50,000, because now they are the biggest.
It's around that. I don't quite.
It's somewhere around. Some low number,
memory.
But now they're the biggest. They're the biggest system. Yeah. There's billions of dollars going through Uniswap. It's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. So they started. So someone's got to do that on Cardano. Maybe that'll be you guys. What do you think? Maybe let's go for number one, buddy. We're going for number one.
We're in it to win it, not it's.
You always go in it to win it. To say, well, we're not here for number. Yeah, we showed up to the game. We're going for number 5 this year. No, we're going for number 1, bro.
Second place is first loser.
I know what you mean. I used to have people tell me that. That's funny. Fattison Crypto asks, how many projects are you looking to roll out next year? Do you have an idea? Can you give us a rough? Like, we're going to start with 2 and work our way up to 20, or do you have an idea?
Honestly, I can't answer that one. I have no idea with reference to how many projects, but it will boil down to definitely the KYC aspect, to make sure that they're definitely viable and those sorts of things. So
we've received a good number of projects, let's put it that way. And how many of them actually go through and launch on the Launchpad remains to be seen. And that will be something that we look very much forward to in the new year. When it's expected to go, which could be as soon as 2 weeks into the new year.
Definitely.
Yeah. I don't think you guys are going to have a problem getting people to show up, because I read a news article yesterday that said U.S. tech industries are having problems keeping developers, because developers are leaving the tech side of the industry to move over to the crypto side of the industry.
Yeah.
And although Haskell may be a challenging or more unique type of language for developers, I know developers like learning new stuff. I worked with a lot of developers. They love to learn new stuff. They're not afraid to get their hands dirty. They're not afraid to dig into something different. And sometimes a little challenging, but I think it might work out pretty good. There was a few other questions.
All sorts of types of projects as well. I mean, the biggest use case in crypto being trading, obviously building a DeFi hub, and those services will prove to be very popular and has proved to be very popular. But we're also seeing blockchain applications in voting, governance, and logistics. All these types of projects need paths into the ecosystem, and this is what we're looking to create. So I think you're absolutely spot on, Rick. The tech people are looking to build new applications on blockchain. So not all may even have tokenomics.
Yeah. You know, it's amazing everything that's coming out. Now there's big industry the big industry is kind of penetrating into crypto through the phrase metaverse, right? And that's kind of like their point of entry without saying crypto, because maybe that's not as warming to the general public. I don't know. They think we're a bunch of dark and shadowy supercoders, which is not always the case. We were very open and public and friendly supercoders out there. All right. So thank you for that question, Fattison. I very much appreciate it. And I have there was a question from Alam. I think Destiny has already answered it. Alam asked, will the AA tokens be used to govern the entire platform, or will the Launchpad, DEX, and money market have separate tokens? Now, I think this was answered by Destiny. Is Destiny from Team Astarter?
Yeah.
Okay, so Destiny says AA tokens will be used to govern the entire platform, including Launchpad and DEX. Thank you for that question, and thank you, Destiny, for following up there. You guys got anything to add? Anything about the AA token? So the AA tokens are going to be the primary layer 2 token for Astarter. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And those are the ones I'll be able to get through the IDO early on.
Yeah.
Used for whitelisting, governance, liquidity mining. We're going to have the features for over collateralized stable coins, that sort of thing. So the token will be used for will come into play in that sort of scenario as well. The full spectrum of things actually for the AA token. It will be the underlining economic of the system, but we also are very mindful of the strength that comes from the ADA token as being the main sort of system token, if you like, and how that strengthens liquidity. So I think there'll be a lot of pairings with the ADA and so on, which will really be the strength. But in terms of governance and the whitelisting, liquidity mining, and so on, the AA token, Astarter token, will have a great use case, a utility in those areas.
That's good to hear. And that's going to be a Cardano native asset right out of the box.
Correct.
All right. Well, I'm glad to hear about this one early on. I'm glad we made contact early on, guys. I've held you hostage here for about 35 minutes now. Are you ready to wrap up? You got anything else you want to tell the audience before we wrap up for the day?
Just looking forward to the first and second week in the new year to see Astarter hit the market running. Cool.
Yeah, let's take this opportunity. Wish everybody a happy Christmas, and great to be on the show, Rick. And I'm going to look forward to the next one.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, you guys have updates coming out for Astarter, and as you're launching things out, feel free to hop back on over here at Cardano Live. I've had people kind of coming at me from different directions. They wanted me to get folks like you guys on Cardano Live early because they want to hear about the projects early. They don't want to be the Johnny come lately, but people also like to hear a follow-up from the teams. And it's really great to have you guys on here. So you're welcome to come back anytime. Does that sound good? Sometime after the new year?
Love to, for sure.
Brilliant.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, I'd love to have you guys back as well. So for the viewers, feel free to hit that like and subscribe button down below. Check out all those links to Astarter. Like I said, they've got Reddit, they've got Medium articles. Follow them on Twitter. And check out any of their content coming out so you can stay up to date on the latest coming out of Astarter. And we'll be back sometime in 2022 with some updates with this team. Thank you, gentlemen. Have a great day. Thanks to all the viewers.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everybody. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.